I'm John Hayward-Cripps, the Chief Executive of Neighbourhood Watch Network, which is the overarching organisation for Neighbourhood Watch across England and Wales. My background is varied, working in social care, local authorities, charities and the private sector. I've always worked with vulnerable people, developing resilience in both people and communities. I've worked in child protection, with young offenders and victims of crime, and in community development. I've always been fortunate that almost always I've been lucky to be working with volunteers who are the most incredible people, giving their time for free to work in something they really believe in. I want to talk to you today about Neighbourhood Watch in England and Wales, the challenges we face, the impact of the COVID-19 crisis over the last year, and our new 5-year strategy, and how we feel the potential for Neighbourhood Watch is bigger now than ever, and how we plan to achieve that potential. Neighbourhood Watch is a huge volunteer movement across England and Wales, with approximately 2.3 million member households and around 90,000 street coordinators. Neighbourhood Watch is a grassroots organisation on a hyper-local level, which is absolutely volunteer-led. My staff team is small as a small central support team of around 8 people, and we deliver crime prevention campaigns for members and non-members on social media. We produce lots of guidance and resources for our members, including sharing best practice from around the network, and have also developed toolkits on various crimes, including burglary, car crime, domestic abuse, modern-day slavery, etc. And that is to help support our members run campaigns and to share their information in their communities. Our information is universally available via our website and through our campaigns, and we also liaise with sponsors and central government and advocate on behalf of members. The organisation is a loosely federated structure with Neighbourhood Watch associations covering most of the police force areas across England and Wales. Each local association is run entirely by volunteers and they all differ slightly. They have mixed geographic coverage and different levels of activity. Some simply pass online messages to members from the police and pass information back to the police, while others are really active, delivering public crime prevention seminars, supporting children and young people's activities, running patrols, litter picks, knife sweeps and all sorts of community development projects. The demographic of Neighbourhood Watch members across England and Wales is broadly older and slightly better off members. This is not across the board, but that is the broad demographic, and there is limited diversity. We have a really strong 40-year history and a very recognisable brand that's trusted, honest and believed. But there are some negative perceptions about Neighbourhood Watch too, along the lines of curtain twitching, nosy neighbours and kind of worthy but dull. I've been in post 3 years now, and I was taken on to develop the organisation and to address the challenges facing Neighbourhood Watch. This was around the perception, gaining new and younger members by being more attractive to those groups, and working in areas of higher crime and deprivation, where you can argue that the benefits of Neighbourhood Watch are most needed. It's taken time to really get to know the organisation, the complexity, what works well, where it's fabulous, and where there's need for improvement. But by working really closely with our volunteers and the associations, and a new chair of the board, we were in a position to develop a new and exciting 5-year strategy about a year ago, and then something happened. The COVID-19 crisis has affected all of us across the world and continues to do so and is likely to continue so into the future. In England and Wales, we had to do the same as everyone else, working from home, meetings had to move online, we got to grips with Zoom, and most people's foremost concern was health and the actual crisis itself. Right the way across the UK, millions of people started to volunteer, and Neighbourhood Watch groups were a key part of that. Neighbourhood Watch and other groups coordinated and supported vulnerable and lonely people in the community, whether it was collecting prescriptions and medication, going shopping for people, or just making sure people were connected and had some sort of social contact. Many Neighbourhood Watch groups really stepped up. Numerous support groups were set up. In Cumbria, for instance, there was an emergency response group with street wardens helping those who were self-isolating. Hounslow Neighbourhood Watch raised nearly £30,000 for PPE for local hospitals. There were calling tree campaigns set up across England and Wales where members would phone vulnerable people in the community on a daily basis. We worked closely with the charity Women's Aid given the significant increase of domestic abuse during lockdown, and we also joined with other organisations to form a community action response group, making sure that all the messages around crime, COVID and loneliness were spread out right across our networks. The response was really inspiring and formed a huge chunk of the work that Neighbourhood Watch has taken part in during the past year. This slide is just an example of postcards and social media used by Neighbourhood Watch during Neighbourhood Watch last year to contact neighbours and offer support. However, as we weren't able to do some of our traditional work, this did give us a great opportunity to work and co-develop with our volunteer leaders over the past year a new strategy. So while the response to COVID-19 was ongoing, we had numerous Zoom calls and really worked hard together, getting back to the basics about what Neighbourhood Watch really was. Very, very local groups wanting to reduce crime and improve their neighbourhood, and what we as a movement wanted to achieve. It took the best part of 6 months and was vital that we involved our volunteer association leads and members in a working group and fed back to the wider organisation as we went. It also felt really important that we were ambitious and aspired to the very best of what Neighbourhood Watch can be. We felt strongly that we were founded on the premise of bringing people together as neighbours and communities. The need for this today is as great as it's ever been, and the desire for neighbours to support each other has been clearly evidenced during the COVID-19 response. The central aim of the strategy is to reinvigorate the charity, to be more relevant and diverse by being active in all communities and clearly demonstrating the positive impact of Neighbourhood Watch across England and Wales. The strategy builds on the successes of the charity and identifies the major themes and aims. By 2025, we want to be the authoritative voice on community-based crime prevention. This means everybody will know about Neighbourhood Watch and be able to access crime prevention information and advice and be able to get involved if they wish. We want to be the most popular gateway for citizens to engage in their locality. We will provide an easy way for people to get involved in their area with activities or signposting to other organisations that might better suit their needs. And we also want to be a recognised contributor to community health and well-being. We already do this in many areas, but we want to be known for the positive impact of being connected and active in your community and the effect that has in reducing crime, fear of crime, as well as reducing loneliness and isolation. So it was vital we worked with our association and members. This was absolutely critically important. It's really important that we all work together on the development, both centrally and locally. We can't do it on our own, we need to work together. We set up a community fund for Neighbourhood Watch groups to apply for funding so they could set up projects to deliver community projects within their area. It was really important as well that we recognised that Neighbourhood Watch had to be different in different areas. So in areas of high crime, it's likely to look a bit different to in areas of low crime. We set up an advancement area project. Again, in areas of high crime, it was really important that we listened, that we met with local people and with councils and the police and really got to grips with what was important in those areas. Usually there were multiple issues, not just crime. And it was really important that we addressed and acknowledged all of those, not just crime in those areas, to get a foothold in those communities. We also developed a community champions programme. So this is local community influencers being able to pass information out about crime, the police, and working with local people. It was important that we were active both locally and centrally. So passing information from the police to communities and passing information back should be a minimum standard. But there are most people within Neighbourhood Watch are really keen to improve their community. So that could be litter picks, making sure that the lonely were being supported, events. We co-worked with the Big Lunch charity to deliver really interesting community events. We want to focus on areas of high need, and that obviously gets the support of the police and local councils because those are areas that they want Neighbourhood Watch to work in and for those communities to benefit from Neighbourhood Watch. We've also developed extensive programmes. We're trying to gain funding for regional workers, which will increase the capacity of local Neighbourhood Watch to deliver and expand into those areas. We're looking to develop funding for young people's work, which will enable us to change what we offer young people. It's really important, we found, that for young people that volunteering is really easy and young people might want to volunteer briefly and then not be involved. We've developed a really exciting project with one of our partners Avast called Cyberhood Watch, and this has developed local Cyberhood Watch ambassadors who are local people that are trained and supported to deliver workshops and be a point of contact in communities re-cybercrime, because the importance of cybercrime is becoming larger and larger, and the it's really important that people are able to talk about cybercrime. Finally, the most important thing we've done is make sure that we're really clear on our impact. We've started to produce an annual impact report, which contains positive stories and data about what Neighbourhood Watch is achieving and the impact it has both in the community and on crime. We're really happy to share our impact report, and there'll be details at the end of the slides on that. The final thing I'd say, it was really important that we all agreed as a movement, so not just the volunteers but the paid staff, the trustees, right the way across Neighbourhood Watch, really signed up and agreed to the journey that we were trying to undertake as part of the strategy. So this slide is obviously a bit humorous, but in my experience, Neighbourhood Watch people, both local and central, we don't always agree. We all do it in different ways, but almost all of us agree on what we want to achieve about expanding the organisation, getting more young people into the organisation and working in areas of higher crime. What we are doing in Neighbourhood Watch in England and Wales is really working with the positive and the willing. Obviously, the proof will be in the results of what we do, but certainly in my experience, the number of Neighbourhood Watch volunteers and supporters who are willing to lead the change is quite high. Well, I think you will agree that we have developed ambitious plans for the strategy, but they are ones I really believe we can achieve. We're at the beginning of the journey and building on the great history of the organisation, but there is a long way to go. However, if there's one positive thing to come from the COVID-19 crisis and the response to it, it is that in the UK, the number of new people from all walks of life that have volunteered for the first time to support their community is phenomenal. People giving their time to make their community safer and stronger by being active. And for me, that's the heart of Neighbourhood Watch. And if we can make supporting and becoming involved with Neighbourhood Watch easy and simple, we can definitely achieve our aims. Thank you.